Good evening. So today we are going to talk about CAT 2023 Slot 1 RC, which was based on the philosophy. Okay. So before starting with the explanation, let's see how to approach your RC. Right? How to approach the RC? What should be the initial step? The very first step should be the skimming. What is skimming? Reading the few lines from every paragraph. So this is going to help me in picking up the topic and assessing what is the language. Right. So if I do the skimming, I understand that is Marshall Sahalini has written an essay, Original Affluent Society, and some counter, like some author is going to talk about its impact because it was the third line only says the simple but the counter intuitive. So I can understand from this thing that the passage is going to be based on the essay written by Marshall Sahali. Okay. In the next paragraph, moreover, the foragers had other options. I don't know foragers what does it mean, but let's say it's a kind of a society, a community, a group of people. So they have another option. ठीक है, good enough. In the next line, I can understand that a culture was a way of living oriented around a distinctive value and this thing. Something is going to be talked about a culture as well. But the focus is going to be, I believe, essay. The third paragraph, a point of view of the essay. So again, the essay is there. My focus, my like I'm more firm that yes, this is going to be talking about the essay, original Affluent Society, written by the Marshall Sahlin. But there is one more essay which is being talked about here, Affluent Society, talked about by the John Keats. So there are going to be the two essays, two writers. So automatically the comparison is going to happen, right? Whenever the RC is there and the two people are two thought process, 2 point of views, or more than 2 point of views are given, it is implied that in the questions the comparison is there, or he is going to ask you what is the assumption of at least one writer. You have to be ready with this thing. Okay, I'm still analyzing. I have not started reading or comprehending the passage. The last para says, viewed in the today's context, of course, not every aspect of the essay has well aged. So, yeah, has not well aged. I think that this para is going to talk about the negative impact. But kiska negative impact? Affluent society ka या original affluent society ka? That is what I will come to know later when I will start doing comprehending the passage. This is the first step. Now, second step says that you need to only read the questions. Okay? Second step says that you have to read the questions. What is the first question is looking for? We can infer that the Sahalini's main goal. Okay, quite good enough. कि Sahalini, that is the original Affluent Society का उसका main goal क्या था? Essay लिखने का. Okay, good. But over here, I need to analyze. I need to analyze all the points. I cannot go for by reading only the few options and I say okay, this is going to be the point. This is you can say indirect question. This is a indirect question based on the whole passage, whole RC. Good. The next questions, the author mentions this. Okay, Tanzania हेडजे का कोई एग्जाम्पल आएगा पैसेज में ये उसके बारे में बात कर रहा है. This question is talking about the example which is going to come. So now what is the key point? कि मुझे question number 2 में तंजानिया हेड्स का reference मिल रहा है. So while reading the passage, I have to be very careful. Okay, I have to pick up this word. Okay. Third question, again, see, this is what we have done in the last paragraph, that criticism is going to come. And here is a question. The author of the passage criticizes Helene. So I'm more firm with my concept. I'm more firm with my thoughts. Yes, last paragraph is going to talk about the criticism. The last one, Galbraith. This is another author. This is another author जिसने Affluent Society लिखा था. Right? देखिए, another author mentions the author of the passage mentions this in this. So again, see the uska why the author took this name, why the author got this example. Now this is what the fourth question is asking. So in an all, I can say that it is going to analyze the essay. Language seems to be good. क्वेश्चन सीम्स टू बी अप्रोचेबल, ऐसा कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं था जो क्वेश्चन ही मुझे समझ में ना आया हो. सी इफ यू आर नॉट एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड द, इफ यू आर नॉट एबल टू कॉम्प्रिहेंड द क्वेश्चन, it is not advisable to go further with that, because you will not be able to pick up the correct answer in that case. Right? So till now, the essay, the topic is going to analyzing the essay. The language of the passage is good. The questions are approachable. I am going ahead with this passage. Right? After the step one, after the step two, now comes the step three. Now here I'm confirming myself that I'm going ahead with this passage. Now the passage is going to be, I'm going to have comprehending. And now I will start reading. And while reading, I will start doing para summary. Now, why para summary? See, on the day, there will be a lot of thought process will be going on in your mind. There will be a lot of distractions. There is got a lot of stress. So to keep yourself like burden free, to keep yourself little stress free, it is advisable to keep on writing simultaneously. What we are going to write? We are going to write the summary. And while doing the questions, I have to recall. I have to recall. Everything cannot sink in my mind so firmly that I don't have to refer the passage again. So I have to refer the passage again. So despite going to the passage, I will go back to my summary, which has been written by me in my language. I have written those words, those sentences which I can comprehend. राइट यस नीडलेस टू से यहीं पर हम लोग डायरेक्ट क्वेश्चन साथ साथ करते चले जाएंगे. डायरेक्ट क्वेश्चन जैसे कि अभी उसने क्वेश्चन नंबर 2 में ही वाज आस्किंग अबाउट द वन स्पेसिफिक कम्युनिटी, दैट व्हाई द ऑथर हैज यूज्ड दिस स्पेसिफिक कम्युनिटी. So this question number 2 I will do as soon as it will appear in my passage. I hope we are clear so far, and I hope you are clear with the most important thing, that how to approach RC, how to decide whether the RC is your RC or not. See, now again, generally what happens, the students pick up the first RC. You say because they are stressed, because they don't want to lose time, or you think they are like, it's like they are not able to judge. They don't have that like picking the skills to pick up the right RC. But first RC picking up can be wrong, cannot be wrong. If the RC is dense, it is complex, it is time consuming, then I will never advise to pick up the first RC or any second, third or RC. You have to pick up that RC where the questions are approachable and the language is easy. But questions are approachable, that should be there. Right? I believe we are good to go. We are good to start with the passage. And I will keep on explaining a lot of things in between. You say the words in between, there's like we are going to talk a little about the grammar also. So again, for the OMAT side of questions, it is going to be helpful. Right? Okay. So grammar, first sentence is starting with the square bracket. Now, what does this square bracket mean? Square bracket means that it is a additional. It is a addition. Writer has not given this thing. When the author, author of my passage, when the person who is giving me this passage, because this is a somebody else, this Marshall Sahani has not written this passage. Marshall Sahani has written at the essay Original Affiliate Society. Some Mr. X is there. Who is the author? Mr. X is the author. He has written this whole para, whole RC, or a part of an article from where my cat has picked up this RC. He is giving me the additional information, and that is why this square brackets are being used. Okay? So after 50 years after his publication in English in 1972, and just a year since Marshall Sahani himself died, we may ask, why did his essay, Original Affiliate Society, have such an impact, and how has it fared since? Now, I have read this whole statement in one go. Okay? But on the day, I might not do this thing. Right now, I'm explaining you, I went in a flow. But on the day, you are not going to read such a big statement, a sentence in one flow. You are going to break into the parts. That is up to your capacity, how much you can pick up in the one go. Okay, so I read again as if I'm reading on the day. 50 years after its publication in English. Okay, so 50 years के बाद जब उसकी publication हुआ उसके बाद Just a year since Marshall Sahani himself died. Okay, so this the same after a year when he died, we may ask is the like a people, the audience, the readers, not the audience but the readers. Why did his essay original afferent have an impact? The what is the what like why क्यों उसकी ऐसे का impact आया, and how it feels since, and how fair was it, how valid was that? So again, as we said while skimming the passage, that he is going to analyze the passage, and this is what the first question in the first paragraph is telling in itself. Sahani's main principal argument was simple. Okay, it was simple but counterintuitive. Counterintuitive, I do not know the word, the meaning, but I can understand कि simple का opposite जा रहा है ना? Simple but is a contradictory thing. So simple का contradictory, something which is not common. Counterintuitive, something which is not common. So now this passage is definitely talking something which is not rare, which is rare. I'm sorry, which is rare, which is not common. Before being driven into the marginal environment by the colonial power, hunter-gatherers or foragers. Again, I do not know what are the foragers, but I can understand that hunter gatherers के साथ और लगाकर ये word को दिया गया है. So somewhere these foragers are also the people who gather their were not engaged in the desperate struggle for a meager survival. They were not you like struggling only to survive. Only to survive, मतलब they are not only there to collect the food. राइट हमको सर्वाइवल के लिए बेसिक चीजें चाहिए, उन लोगों को सिर्फ सर्वाइवल के लिए ही नहीं, दे वर नॉट डेस्परेट, मतलब देयर वाज समथिंग एल्स आल्सो. Quite the contrary, they satisfy their needs with a far less work than the people in the agriculture and the industrial societies. So their needs were less. Their needs were less. अब वो किससे कंपेयर कर रहा है? इंडस्ट्रियल एंड द एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर सोसाइटी से. ये किसकी नीड्स कम है? फॉरेजर्स की. फॉरेजर्स कौन थे? हंटर गैदरर्स. दे वर द हंटर गैदरर्स, लीविंग देयर मोर टाइम टू यूज एज द विश. अब उनकी नीड्स ज्यादा नहीं थी, काम ज्यादा नहीं करना है, तो उनके पास टाइम था. हंटर्स ही इक्विप्ड मतलब ही जोक्ड. Quid matlab he joke. Keep the bankers are. Now this is a phrase. Bankers are. Bankers are is a phrase which means the short working hours. Short working hours. You can always remember this phrase like this. The banks in matlab like 5 years back, 6 years back, 10 years back, banks used to start by 11 o'clock. And they finished the day by the 6 o'clock. And in between also there was a lunch break. So their working hours were small. This is just an example to remember the meaning of this phrase. I'm not saying to stick on the 11 to 6, but just a way to remember the phrase. Refusing to maximize, many were more concerned with the games of chance than with the chances of gain. Again, see, again he is picking up the phrase. So they were not, but what does it mean? They were not interested in only, they were more interested with the games. They were more interested with their leisure activities, with their hobbies, and not in working. ठीक है? So अभी तक का, okay, let's finish this para first. The so-called Neolithic revolution, rather than improving life, imposed a harsher work regime and set in the motion the long history of the growing inequality. So the inequality is growing, but where the inequality is growing? In a Neolithic revolution. I do not know what is Neolithic, but lith is the root word for the stone. Lith is a root word for stone. So in the new age, neo is new. Neo is the root word for new. And it's a new age, new era, new time. It was a growing of rather than improving the life, they were more exposed to the harsh work, and due to which the inequality started growing. I hope the para is clear. Now, if I say ki what are you able to comprehend from the first para, or when I said that we are going to do the paraphrasing, what are the key points which I can pick from here? The very first point is foragers were not were not work more. or you can say their needs were not more. They were more interested in the leisure, their games, right? But in Neolithic age, revolution rather, there was an increase in the work. It was a more harsh work, which led to the inequality. Good. So now this is what I mean by paraphrasing. If you and see, I'm not writing even the full sentence. I'm just writing the pointers. Like this is for my reference because when I have to solve the questions, I can definitely come back to my notes and refer them. You can say paraphrasing is more like a rough notes what you take when the during the running session. है ना टीचर लेक्चर दे रही होती है फटाफट फटाफट लिख रहे होते हो such things. So these are the things. This is a way which you have to do the para summary. But please do para summary. Para summary really increases your focus, removes your distraction. Distraction. I'm not saying only the physical distraction. Ki what the Sathwala is doing. Distraction in sense also where your thought process are going. है ना? Maybe I am recently I have watched a movie called Hunter somewhere where the main lead was a hunter gatherer. So I will I will get into that. I will carry forward with that movie. I will get more engrossed into that movie. I start recalling the scenes from that movie. I start getting the more external information from that movie into this passage. So these are called the distractions. So to avoid the distractions, keep the pen working. Good? Nice? Okay. Moreover, the foragers had other options. So ऐसा नहीं था कि foragers के पास कोई option नहीं थी, इसलिए वो काम नहीं करते थे. मतलब ये like काम कम था, land कम थी, animals कम थे, ऐसी चीज नहीं थी. उनके पास options थे. Right? The contemporary Hadza of Tanzania. Now, this was a keyword which was there in my question number 2. So I will solve the question number 2 after finishing this para. Who had long been surrounded by farmers knew they had alternatives and rejected it. So now here the author is taking that example and saying they had the alternatives but they rejected them. Right? To Sahalis, this showed that the foragers are not only simply examples of the human diversity of victimhood, but something more profound. Profound is deep. Profound is something which is more deep, something which is wise. Okay, now one more grammar related thing. Here the colons are there. Now colons can do two things. Either it can expand my thought process, which is going before the colon, उसको और explain कर सकता है, या दो interdependent sentences को join करने के लिए वो मुझे help करता है. And this is a role of the colons. These are the colons. These are the colons. So now this I can understand. Here it is more of the expanding of the same thought process. So what they are saying, the foragers are not only the example of the human diversity or the victimhood, but more profound. So foragers का जो example है, it is more than the humanhood. They demonstrated that the societies make the real choices. What was a real choice? They're spending the time in their leisure activities, in their hobbies, and not living only to survive. Culture, a way of living oriented around a distinctive set of values, manifest a fundamental principles of collective determinations. Again, the same thing that the culture also played a quite good role. Quite the culture plays a quite good role over here. The culture was defining their way of living. The culture was defining the way of living. This is what you understand by this line. Okay, so for till now, I understand that what is the example of that this Tanzania was saying that they had the alternative, but they didn't go for those alternatives. And their main focus was the culture. What was the culture? The spending of the more time in the leisure activities, their hobbies, and not the only the survival. So now let's come to the question number 2 simultaneously, जहाँ पर हमको ये word दिखाई दिया था. That the why the author mentioned the Tanzania community to illustrate what what was the purpose? The foragers community's lifestyle derived not from the ignorance but about the alternatives, but from their own choice. Okay, derived not from ignorance about alternatives, but from their own choice. मतलब उनको पता था alternatives हैं, but it was their choice. Okay, quite approachable can be my answer. How two vastly different ways of living and working were able to coexist with it. Now, vastly different तो नहीं थे. They were not vastly different. क्योंकि author ने first paragraph में भी foragers की बात में यही बोला था कि they were more inclined towards the not they were not only surviving for their meager survival. They were not working only for the meager survival. They were the other factors also. And तंजानिया में भी यही हो रहा था. तो vastly different तो नहीं थे. Third, how the pre-agrarian society did not hamper the emergence of more advanced aggregate. More advanced aggregates की बात, no. This is what my passage has not been talking about. है ना? Practice is a continuous community. No, this is more agrarian society. Again, I will eliminate this option. That the hunter-gatherers community substitutes the level techniques equipped with them to survive well into the contemporary times. Contemporary times is the modern time. Contemporary times is a modern time. This is what they are trying to say, right? So that the hunter-gatherers community subsistence level technique equipped. Now, technique equipped is again कोई भी technique की बात नहीं हुई है paragraph. है ना? Them to survive. अगर मैं technique को मतलब like hunting and food gathering से भी equate करूँ, then also them to survive well into the contemporary. अभी तक contemporary word modern word की बात भी नहीं है. Good. Right? So again, this option has been eliminated. I am there with the option A, that the foragers community lifestyle derived not only from the ignorance but from their own choice. ऐसा नहीं था कि उनके पास कोई ऑप्शन नहीं था, बट उनका चॉइस ही ये था कि this is what they have to do. Good. अच्छा, one more thing. In this passage, while doing skimming, I found this example only in the second para. So that's why I did this question the immediately after I'm done with the second para. But sometimes what happened, the same example is being like carried forward in the third paragraph or the fourth paragraph also. So you can see the same name over there. So while skimming only, you have to keep this in mind that where all this word has been seen. And then only you are going to approach this question. कहीं ऐसा ना हो that you are leaving some important information in the coming paragraphs. And the author is very smart. The author is very smart. He is going to give you the options, which is which is going to be from the first paragraph also, from the third paragraph also, from the fourth paragraph also, because he knows that you are in a rush. He knows that you are going to pick up the easy answer first. I hope you are getting. I hope you are able to understand what I'm trying to say. Be very careful before picking up the question that whether that proper noun, that agenda, that topic is been confined till you have read. Nice, good. Chaliye. Now let's complete our para, and then we are going to complete the other passages, para questions as well. But to the point of the essay, is not much of the empirical validity of the data. Empirical validity of the data, empirically observed. Observed, right? ऐसे का सिर्फ यही पर्पस नहीं था कि जो डेटा ऑब्जर्व करा गया है उसको देखना. But the real interest for the most readers, after all, is not the foragers either today or in the Paleolithic age. But the real interest for the readers was not even in the foragers. Foragers में भी उनका interest नहीं है. But rather its conceptual challenge to the contemporary economic life versus individualism. This word means middleman. Middleman, or like somebody who's not earning way low or not way high. Middle income people. ठीक है, तो इस रीडर्स का क्या इंटरेस्ट था और इस एसे का क्या इंटरेस्ट था, इनफैक्ट टू चैलेंज द कंटेम्प्रेरी लाइफ को, मॉडर्न लाइफ को चैलेंज करना. दिस वाज द पर्पस ऑफ दिस पैसेज. This is not the criticism. This is again bringing up the main point, main focus of the passage, why this essay has been written. The empirical served a philosophical and political project, a thought experiment, and the stimulus to the imagination of the possibilities. Now, this is what the purpose of this passage is looking for. Good. With this title nods toward the affluent society. Now, here's my another proper noun is coming, John Galbraith. So, right now, with the nod matlab is going to agree. Right? Famous skeptical portraits of the America's post-war prosperity and the inequality, and dripping with the new left contempt of the consumerism, the original affluent society. Okay, now here in these lines, he is trying to say that that my author Sahaline was the main author for this original affluent society. He was it was inspired by John. Who is John? John is the writer of Affluent Society. जॉन ने कौन सा लिखा, क्या लिखा था? Affluent Society. साहलीन ने क्या लिखा? Original Affluent Society. And Saline is got inspired, got motivated, got you like a kind of a role model from the John. क्यों? जॉन ने क्या किया, लिखा था अपने ऐसे में, he has criticized the America's post-war prosperity and the inequality. And वही चीज साहलीन ने करी in the form of the foragers. This is what this passage is going to talk about. ठीक है? हाँ, again a very good phrase, a very good term is coming, the Zen road to affluence. Again, it is something which where you are not looking, your needs are less. Your needs are less. You are not looking for, you are not, you are complacent. You are complacent. You are complacent. That is what again this word is talking about. I will like to skip this passage because this is what this is coming about. That Sahaline has written Original Affluent Society, inspired by the John, who has written Affluent Society, and both have the criticism. And यहाँ पर nod आ रहा है, that means agree. मतलब they were both on the same page. They were not contradicting each other. Right? Now the interesting part which comes, that is the criticism. एक ही paragraph में there is a criticism. Now understand कि what he is trying to write in the one paragraph. Viewed in today's context, of course, not every aspect of essay has aged well. Though is not has come up to the picture, come up to the life as it was expected. वो mature नहीं हुआ, it's not been accepted by the society. While acknowledging the violence of the colonialism, racism, and disposition, it does not thematize them as heavily as we might today. So Sahaline ko he agreed. I'm sorry, agree. He acknowledged that there was violence of colonialism, there was racism, there was disposition. बट उसके ऐसे में इसका थीम नहीं दिख रहा है, इसका रिफ्लेक्शन नहीं दिख रहा है. रिमेम्बर थीम, हमारी थीम पार्टीज होती है तो उसका रिफ्लेक्शन दिखता है. सब लोग वैसे ही कॉस्ट्यूम पहन के आते हैं, वैसे इंटीरियर होता है, वैसे ही खाना होता है. सो समथिंग उसका रिफ्लेक्शन उसके ऐसे में नहीं दिख रहा है. दिस वाज द फर्स्ट क्रिटिसिज्म. ठीक है? Rebuking evolutionary anthropologists for treating the present day foragers as left behind by progress. It too can succumb to the temptation to use them as a proxies for the Paleolithic. So now the second criticism is coming. Yes, okay, I missed this part while explaining. Here in this part, in the previous passage, they say that the foragers have been left behind by the progress. This is due only to the ethnocentric self-congratulation of the West. They were left out behind. Matlab they were not able to enhance themselves. But that was out of their choice. That was not forcing anyone. That was out of the choice. The capitalism was not the road for them. ठीक है? अब ये उसी बात को यहाँ पर वो क्रिटिसाइज करेगा. कहता है वो yes they were foragers were, they said that the foragers were left behind, but it can surrender, give up to the temptation to the use. But today's foragers are not able to give up this temptation. मतलब ये जो essay है, जो need less लेस नीड, राइट। ये इसी पे हमारा फर्स्ट पैराग्राफ से हम लोग कहानी कर रहे हैं। दे नीड लेस, दैट दिस लेस नीड इज नॉट बीन अप्लाइड टू today's foragers, today's people, right? Yet these characteristics should not distract us. Okay, now see, यहीं पर हमारे इन्हीं इतने ही लाइन में he has finished the criticism. Next two lines again. Yet these criticisms should not distract us from appreciating Salim's work effort to show that if we want to conjure the new possibilities, we need to learn about the actual inhabitable worlds. So in only the 4 or 5 lines, he mentioned the two criticisms about the Salim essay, and that's all. So the majority of the passage is towards the from where he got inspired and what are the positive things we can learn from this essay. ठीक है, चलिए. Now the question number 1. Actually, what I will do, I will not do the question number 1 first. Though the passage is quite clear to me, though I have written the para summary also, but whenever it comes to the infer wala question, tone wala question, I try to keep it for the last. Because again, somewhere while doing the questions, while solving the questions, my concepts are going to be more firm. I will get a more clarity what is the passage is actually saying. I'm not saying I've went wrong somewhere, but एक बार और थोड़ा firmness आ जाती है. So I will keep the question number 1 for the last. Rather, जो यहाँ पर question number 3 जहाँ पर वो criticism की बात कर रहा था. This is what my last passage is talking about. Question number 3. Question number 4 जहाँ पर वो Galbraith की बात कर रहा था. I will do these 2 questions first. ठीक है? So the author of the passage criticizes Salim's essay for its outdated values regarding the present day foragers versus the ancient foragers. हाँ, वो outdated values की बात कर रहा है कि हम लोग foragers जो थे वो जो आज के foragers हैं वो less need की बात नहीं करते हैं. The things have changed. But is it exactly the verses? No, it is not exactly the word verses. Still, I will keep, maybe this is the best option. Failure to supplement its thesis with a robust empirical data. No, it is not. It was data की बात सिर्फ इसलिए हुई थी कि जब उसने बोला था this essay is not only for the data. The readers are more interested, and the essay is more criticizing the contemporary world. Only there the data was being talked about. So criticism इसलिए तो नहीं हुआ था for sure. Critique of the anthropologists who disparage the choices of the forage in the today's society. Okay, critiques of the anthropologists who disparage the choices of the foragers in the today's society. Again, today's society की बात हो रही है. It can be the foragers of the today's society. Okay, but the word disparage. You think that the disparage is a word which is going to be for the criticism, right? Okay, ठीक है. Let's keep it for the discussion. Cursory is something which is not firm, something which is confusing, doubtful. Treatment of the effects of the racism and the colonialism of the on society. तो उसका effect, उसका treatment on the racism, ये उसने author ने बात करी थी. The criticism में उसने सबसे पहले ये बोला था कि सालीन को पता था कि there is a racism, there is a colonialism, but उसका thematic impact मुझे ऐसे में नहीं दिख रहा था. So this comes to be the more close to the my passage, right? Again, I'm saying students A and C को भी रखेंगे 100% रखेंगे because the today's उनको today's society foragers दिख रहा होगा. But I strongly disagree कि disparage is the word which is going to qualify that. The verses is the word which is going to be disqualified. Right? Students उस दिन पर बहुत scanning पर चलते हैं. जल्दी instant answers ढूंढने की कोशिश करते हैं. So be very careful. Question number 4. The author of the passage mentioned Galbraith, the affluent society. वो क्यों इसको मेंशन करता है? Why he says the contrast, the materialistic contrast नहीं है, वो nod करता है, वो agree करता है. Contrast तो word ही नहीं है. I will not read ahead also. I will stop here. Document the influence of the Galbraith cynical view. Cynical is something which is self-centered, looking for yourself. Again, I don't think that this is going to be the cynical. Show how the Galbraith theories refute Salim thesis. Refute नहीं कर रहा था, वो agree कर रहा था. is agree. Show how Sally's view complemented the Galbraith's criticism. This thing, yes, वो compliment कर रहा था, वो उसके साथ agree हो रहा था. So answer is going to be D. Now let's come to the option one जहां पर मुझे infer करना था, right? That's a highlight the fact that while we started off fairly contented egalitarian people. Now, what do you mean by the word egalitarian people? Egalitarian, something which is with equality in the society. हाँ, उसने पैसेज में बात करी थी इनइक्वालिटी की, बट वो कब करी थी? न्यूलिथिक एज में, पैलिथिक एज में नहीं करी थी, राइट? पर इक्वालिटेरियन तो एनीवेज कहीं से नहीं था. अगेन द वर्ड, हाँ, यहाँ पर मुझे इक्वालिटेरियन दिख रहा है. डिस्पाइट द इक्वालिटेरियन ओरिजिन, put forward the view that despite the egalitarian origin, economic progress brings the greater inequality and the social. पर ये तो था ही नहीं. हाँ, inequality ला रहा था, गुड, बट egalitarian तो था ही नहीं. तो egalitarian origin उसने बात ही नहीं करी है. तो how it cannot be my main thing. Hold a mirror to an acquisitive society with the examples of the other communities. Other communities, जब वो तंजानिया वाला एग्जांपल देता है, that have chosen successfully to the non-materialistic. Non-materialistic again, less need. Less need. इन लोगों को iPhone 16 नहीं चाहिए. They are happy with their old Nokia phones. Okay, this seems to be a very good answer. Counter Galbraith, pessimistic. Pessimistic, something which is negative. गैलब्रेथ कहाँ से नेगेटिव था? उसने क्रिटिसाइज करा था, बट ही वाज नॉट नेगेटिव. काउंटर, अच्छा पढ़ लेते हैं पैरा. ऑप्शन काउंटर द गैलब्रेथ. अगेन काउंटर इज आल्सो द वर्ड. मेरा ऑथर उससे एग्री हो रहा है, काउंटर नहीं हो रहा है. व्यू ऑफ द इनएविटेबल, नो, आई विल स्टॉप एंड आई विल मार्क द आंसर सी ओवर. आई होप the passage is clear. I hope the approach towards the RC is clear. This was a 100%able good RC to do. अगर आपने ये RC 2023 के slot 1 के पेपर में छोड़ा है, तो it was a big mistake, right? So again, I'm repeating. Before deciding whether you are going to invest your time in RC or not, you have to do skimming. Skimming will tell you the topic, the language. Then you have to read the questions. You judge whether the questions are approachable or not. And then in the third step, you start investing your time in the passage by comprehending and simultaneously reading the passage. Good? Nice? Thank you. Thank you.